What is up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. And today we have a week's worth of updates to go over. Gen Con happened, community card reveals started, 13 new cards were revealed, the new secret rare art was revealed out of 4, a couple new iconic variants were revealed, and Spider-Man Brand New Day came out. Hit the largest domestic opening weekend for a film, I think it was. But I mean, I'm not exactly going to go too deep into that, as that's not exactly what the video is about. But it was a really good film for me, and I would recommend you see it if you can. But getting on to what you came here for, starting out about a couple days back, not exactly a week, but definitely a while ago, there was a new organized play page added to the Cyberpunk TCG website, mainly just going over some of the already revealed info, like this graphic that we got here for the organized play structure. This was originally from the Kickstarter, but it is nice to have it in a more accessible location rather than having to go through the Kickstarter again and just kind of finding that. And then it's also got a lot more info about each specific event, like the Night City Gauntlet, going over a little bit of info about the pre-release events, Night City Brawls, Showdowns, and then competition level events, which also has a little bit of news with it as well, where it's starting with Cyberpunk TCG Set 2. Night City District opens are larger scale. So this, at least to me, pretty much confirmation that the Cyberpunk TCG competitive scene isn't really going to kick into full swing until Set 2. So I don't know if that's been wide knowledge or if a bunch of people know about that at all, really, but that is something worth noting for, and exactly why you should be keeping updated so that you get more information like this that might have just gone under the rug normally. And then there's a bunch of information, well, not a bunch, but some more information about like Worlds, the Black Sapphire Invitationals, and just really a bunch of just the different organized play levels there. So I will let you get to that on your own time, as I don't exactly want this video to be an hour long, mainly for me and my, I mean, what you can even try and call a sleep schedule. But yeah, it's just, it's really bad. But moving on to Weird Crow makes the card Kickstarter update number 5. Last time, Main as a red legend that focuses on his journey with cyberpsychosis one, and then we got a really simple decision for this one, and that is, should the main legend have the go solo ability? Simply yes or no. And then, of course, this is just a weird crew poll, so you had to have backed the Kickstarter to have access to this poll. So if you haven't, then kind of just out of luck. But there's only one day left on this poll, and there is about 2,300 votes towards one side. So it's pretty much just going to be yes at this point. Say what you will about your thoughts on it, but that's just how it's going to be. So moving on to the Welcome to Night City community card reveal schedule. This has actually just started today with an excellent video from Snapcaster Mage in response on play. Pretty much, it's just going to be these creators or just some of the team, as you can see with Berza having his own reveal there, have a bunch of cards to reveal throughout the coming month as well, with 2 today, 2 forwards, and then just going on about who's revealing it, how many cards are being revealed on that day throughout it all. I don't think this is going to be what's coming out. I think there'll be a bit more from the team as normal, especially with like the August 6th, August 14th gap. Like, I don't think that's just going to be nothing. So I think from what I can tell, it's just going to be like an additive to the current release schedule or reveal schedule. So ramping up more and more reveals as we get closer to the beta event weekends, which are about a month away now. So that's pretty dang cool that it's finally coming up after months of, just kind of getting hyped for this game and just watching it kind of grow. But moving on to the Gen Con updates with update number 57 on the Kickstarter. This one is pretty much just about a bunch of cards that came out over Gen Con weekend and like a little bit more info. Obviously, that's not really relevant considering Gen Con just ended like 2 days ago. So, not really going to go over that. Going to save the cards for later as well, but this is one of the secret layers here. Johnny Silverhand rocking Renegade. This is now, shoot, what was it? 2, 3 out of 4? I forget honestly. But I mean, safe to say it is pretty cool art. And on the Cyberdeck episode 19 podcast, they show off this card as well. Talk a little bit about it. I don't. Yeah, they don't have the actual card there to show off like Kawa does with some other cards there. But I mean, getting some info about this from the dev team is going to be a lot better than just hearing some random gonk talk about it. So I would recommend you go to them first off for that. And then, yeah, catch up with our community card reveal schedule. So that was the page I just showed you. And then if you wanted a link, it's just on the website in the blog section, or you can get a link to it here from the Kickstarter update. And then, yeah, there was episode 19 for the Cyberdeck podcast. There is a little bit of info that is relevant to there, and that is from Kawa. Early to mid August is when we should expect more details about the digital convention. And then, I mean, he also said around September. So just somewhere in August, pretty much, is what I'm getting from that. Just, yeah, pretty, at least kind of inconclusive is what it seemed like. Didn't really seem like there was a set in stone date where that info was going to come out. So just somewhere around then. And then also, he noted that there would be some pre recorded game content, like mostly gameplay about the starter decks and theme decks. So that is also just something to look forward to in the future as well, between him and Weirdco's Richard. And then also in that podcast, Kawa showed off I'll put in person in quotation here because yes, it was in person, but it's through a screen for us. The iconic versions of Jackie Wells Mama's favorite, as well as the iconic version of Alt Cunningham, Mother of Demons, as well as the secret rare version of Judy Nothing to Doubt. So that was pretty cool to see that there. And then also the iconic versions of Pan Am Palmer and Judy Alvarez Brain Dance Maestro. So that was pretty cool. And then they go over a bunch of cards there as well, mainly from the Gen Con kind of release clump. And then, yeah, just moving on with the update. Judy Alvarez Brain Dance Maestro revealed there, just kind of showcasing that. And then the community spotlight for Wide Eyed Fox's video, which I would heavily recommend watching. It's pretty good, pretty well put together. And yeah, just an interesting watch altogether. And then as well with the devlog associated with the update last Friday as well from July 31st. This one is just your typical kind of convention weekend update with a couple of card reveals that we'll be going over later, including the Relic, Pacifica Netrunner, Pyramid Song is finally out too, and then the secret rare Johnny Silverhand rocking Renegade that I mentioned. Of course, the base art was out for that as well. And then a whole load of iconic rare variants just hit the card database as well. I will say a lot of them are just what the early versions were. So if you remember back to the Alpha days and what the legends kind of look like then, a lot of those images are the iconic rare versions. But there are some new ones as well, like with the Jackie Wells Mama's Favorite. That version is new. The Pan Am Palmer, well, I won't say that's new, but that one wasn't really associated with the card in the Alpha Kit version, but the art was out. And then, yeah, just a lot of these are pretty much arts that we've seen before, but I mean, it can't hurt to look through them again, no? And like I said, there are a couple, I think it was 3 new ones that we hadn't seen before. So that is a reason to go through it all the more. And that is pretty much it, just straight up news wise. Like I mentioned, though, there are 13 new cards to go over as well. So let's get into that. And starting off this Baker's Dozen of card reveals, we have Trust No One. This is a blue program with only a requirement of the one blue ram to put it in your deck. So just one blue legend, and this will slot right in. It only costs one. It is a brain dance as well, and its effect is that you decrease a gig by up to 3. Then, if you control a minimum gig, you get to draw 1. Now, obviously, you can hold off on rolling your d4 until you know you're going to play this card, just to pretty much ensure the draw. But then, anyways, this is going to be played. It's generally going to be good in decks that it wants a lower gig value in. This is also the final card of the gig manipulation cantrip cycle, with the red card being Industrial Assembly, the yellow one being After Party at Lizzie's, then the green card being Peace Offering, all revealed a while back. So it's taken a bit to complete the cycle, but I mean, there's not really too much to say about all of them. They're all pretty simple in what they do. They're all likely going to draw you a card, but they're all pretty good, and it's going to slot right into whatever deck needs some gig manipulation, especially one catering towards each color's identity. And yeah, there's not too much to say about it, but I expect this to be pretty common as much as its rarity, and just generally pretty good and widespread card. Moving on to the next one, though, we have Maelstrom Zealots. This is a unit that costs 4 to play. It has 1 green ram, so you're only going to need to play the 1 green legend in your deck to put this in. Its tags are Ganger and Maelstrom, which is pretty self-evident, and it has 0 power. However, to make up for that, when this unit loses a fight, defeat the opposing rival unit. Of course, it reminds you as well that units with 0 power don't steal gigs. So this is, as much as it said on its face, it's just straight up meant to be pretty much removal and kind of death touch in a way. Obviously, it has some synergy with Goro Takamura Vengeful Bodyguard as well, where for 1 eddy you can spend that legend and give a unit with cost 4 or less blocker until end of turn. So, it's pretty much quick speed death touch creature, which will make your opponents think twice before they attack with anything that they even remotely care about losing. And then even then, whether you don't swing or whether they don't swing with them or not, odds are that they're going to end up spent at some point during the game. And as long as this card is on the battlefield and doesn't have lag, then imagine just trading this for a plus seed. Probably not going to happen because it's going to be bottom decked pretty quickly. But any way that you can give this adrenaline too could be pretty nice. Just instant speed removal, pretty much. I don't know how common or widespread this is going to be. I've only really recently started playtesting with some proxy decks that I've printed out, which actually just little background info about the channel. There should be a gameplay video up in the next 2 days or so, pretty soon. Got the decks made and prepared, filming tomorrow. Got a friend coming over to play, forced him to, but there will be some compensation of food after that and some fun to be had. So not too bad all around. But yeah, I don't know. This one I'm a bit more tentative on giving any real opinion on, and I'm just gonna wait and see kind of how this plays out and just the patterns as well. I will say I think this is gonna be better in more of a turtle deck where you're really just kind of facing a war of attrition of holding out until you hit something big or something of the like. But yeah, a bit inconclusive on this card. And shoot, I mean, I'll let you come to your own your own opinion on this one. Moving on to the next one, though, we have the centerpiece of one of the decks that I made to play tomorrow with Alt Cunningham, Mother of Demons. She is rather, a yellow unit with 3 yellow ram requirement. So you're going to have to be playing 2 yellow legends in your deck. This card also costs 7 to be played. She has the tags of Merc and Netrunner and 8 power. And then 2 separate abilities. The first one being when a friendly equipped unit or legend is spent, draw 1, which has some synergy with Pepe and Merc Legends as well. And then her second ability is when a rival unit would steal a gig, you may discard 1 with cost equal to that gig's value. If you do, the gig isn't stolen. So pretty strong on its face right there, just based off looks. I mean, it's got a draw engine stapled to it as well. So I think this one is pretty strong personally. I guess, I mean, I'll see in practice tomorrow. But I mean, I think this is pretty good on its head. Like I said, it's got the 2 great abilities stapled to it. It's got a decent survivability with 8 power as well. There's not too much that on its face can defeat it. And shoot, I mean, you can get multiple of these out and just pop a Zeta Tech faceplate on one of your legends. Just profit with so much card draw. It'd be so nice. Obviously, it's going to be a bit far fetched to get 3 of them out, especially in one game where none of them get destroyed or defeated before you can get them all out. But a gaunt can dream, you know? And yeah, I mean, this just generally seems pretty dang good. And what also seems good about this is the iconic art version that also got revealed. This was one of the ones that Kawa showed off on the Cyberdeck podcast episode as well. So if you want to see I'll put it in quotes, in person version, or just look at this one as well, you can get it there. It looks pretty nice, but I mean, I am going to hold off on giving any definitive opinion on like the foiling and all that type of stuff until I have them personally to look at or get a look at them in person and I get to look at all like the details and stuff in particular. But generally, good card, like the art, like the iconic art, and this is one that I am excited about. Moving on to the next one with Max Tack Suppression Team. This one only has a ram requirement of 1 yellow ram, so you only got to be playing 1 yellow legend to put this in your deck. It is a unit with 5 cost and 7 power, so nothing to scoff at there, with the tag of NCPD, and it's just got a simple ability or effect on it as well, where rival units can't attack the turn they are played. This pretty much shuts off Go Solo as a whole, Adrenaline as well, and a future card that is coming up very shortly as well. And I mean, just even if that doesn't really matter specifically to you or your deck or your matchup, it's still a 5 cost, 7 power unit on the board on its face. So it's nothing too bad to have on the field. And then, I mean, if you get any value off of its ability, then that is pretty much just an added bonus to it already. So I like this personally. I think this is definitely going to have its place in decks in the meta, especially if Go Solo legends seem to be pretty strong and pretty prevalent, which I don't know. I'm still a bit reserved on Go Solo as a whole, but I mean, it's definitely going to get played, and that as a result will make this card definitely get played as well. Moving on to the next one, we have Pacifica Netrunner. This card is a green card, green unit with 2 green ram as a requirement to put it in your deck. So you're going to need a green legend. It also costs 4 for a unit of a singular power. and has the tag of Netrunner, and then it has the play ability where if your street cred is an even number, a rival unit can't ready until your next turn. This one most particularly reminds me of Chrome Reverie, which is a blue program with a cost of 3 where a rival unit can't attack until your next turn. Then, if you control a min gig, you may call a legend for free, but kind of leaving that out, it is not too bad. And I mean, I I personally don't really like this one that much, especially with that play effect being conditional. I think that is a bit of a hindrance, especially if you can't get to that and you really need that playability. You're going to feel that. Um, and then just for the 1 power on its face as well, I think if it had 2 power, it'd be okay. As of right now, I would personally give it 2 out of 5 stars. It's fine. It can definitely be played in a green deck that wants this ability or just one that's kind of more control based. But I don't think this is going to be too common or just too strong once the game hits the local game stores. Moving on to the next one, though, we have Pyramid Song. It is a 3 cost blue program with a requirement of 3 blue RAM. So you're going to need to be playing 2 blue legends to be able to put this in your deck. It is a brain dance with 2 effects, although you can only choose one unless a friendly D4 is a min gig or a 1, then you can choose both instead. The effects are you get to give a rival unit -4 power this turn, or bottom deck a rival unit with power 0. This one obviously has synergy with the previous card of Trust No One, where, I mean, let's say you're starting your turn, right? You can roll your d4. Let's say you roll like a nat 1 and you get a 4, or roll a nat 1 luckwise, I guess would be the better way to say that. You can play Trust No One, make sure it's back down 2-1, then draw 1. And then you can play Pyramid Song for both of its abilities, which I think you don't really play this card unless you're going to be able to get both, or unless you like really need to have one of the abilities. I think they're both generally pretty strong. Very nice at getting any blockers out the way, but not exactly going to be too widespread or just useful in like every game you play either. But the giving a rival unit -4 power this turn is pretty strong. So I mean, there were also apparently earlier in its development, it was really strong and got toned down a bit to be balanced. I think it's fine. This is one that I would like to see like tested out a bit more as well personally. I think it is pretty balanced on its face from what I can tell, but yeah, this is one I'm a bit tentative on giving any opinion on myself. So we are just going to move on to the relic. It is a yellow gear with a RAM requirement of 4 yellow RAM. So you're going to need to be playing 2 yellow legends to put this in your deck. It has 5 costs and a +3 power buff. It has the tags of Arasaka and Cyberware, and a defeated trigger of play another unit with cost 9 or less from your trash for free, then bottom deck this unit. Now, one thing to note is that the defeated trigger only triggers off the unit that this is attached to being defeated, not the gear being defeated. So let's say you like flip Dum Dum and you think you can pop the relic and its effective trigger. It won't, because the unit it's attached to has to be defeated, not the gear, because the unit inherits the bottom text of it pretty much. Obviously, there there's only really one kind of big hit that you're running for on this, being Atom Smasher, and shoot, I mean, if you get like really lucky, you can get him out on probably what, like turn 3, turn 2, which is just going to be crazy. Um, I definitely think this has a lot of potential as more high cost units come out. Even just like Placide. Placide is, let's say you're playing yellow, yellow, blue. Placide can go in because he's only 2 blue ram, and he's still an 8 cost unit. So, I mean, just hitting anything big off this is going to be pretty dang nice. And then it is a cost of 5 for the gear, so you're really going to want just something at least like 6 for your trebles. But yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be pretty good. It will definitely have its place. I don't think it'll be too common of a staple, but I mean, this is definitely something to look out for because I mean, this hits the field and odds on it's going to change the game when it does. But moving on to Johnny Silverhand Rocking Renegade. This is one of the bigger cards revealed. This is the Johnny Legend card. He cannot go solo, so he doesn't have a cost. He has the tags of Merc, Rocker, and Samurai, and his ability is 2 eddies, and to spend them, and a friendly unit can attack spent rival units the turn it's played. And obviously that gets turned off by the max attack assault squad. But if it isn't there, then that is pretty strong already. And then if it's a rocker unit, it also gets +2 power for this turn. And then the effect costs an eddy less for each friendly gig with 8 plus value. So just another red card with that cost reducer on it. Odds on, if you're really spec'd into red, most of the time it's just gonna be spending Johnny to trigger that ability. I think it'll be very strong. And this is also one of the cards that is going to be used in the gameplay video coming out soon. So, I mean, gonna see how that goes firsthand as well. Gonna be playing a standard matchup of 3, or best of 3, I guess. So, hopefully get to see how he really plays out then. And then this is the secret rare version from Divebound Studios, looking very nice. This art, we've seen it before as well. For it was on a binder art, I believe it was. The binder wasn't available to the Kickstarter, but it was like a picture of it got posted to social media or something like that, where we've seen this art before, but I mean, it is still pretty nice just seeing it there. And I'm sure it'll be even nicer in person when hopefully we all pull this card. Unless, of course, you want a different one, or like the Sasha or Judy variant, or whatever the 4th variant is going to be, then it's just, if you want to pull this, hopefully you do. And just hopefully you get to see it in all of its glory in person. But moving on, we have Judy Alvarez, Nothing to Doubt. We finally have a reason to fully spec into blue because she has a RAM requirement of 5 blue RAM. So you're going to need to be playing all 3 blue legends. She costs 6 to play, only has 6 power, which is 2 below the average. However, her ability is to pay an eddy and spend her, and then reveal the top card of your deck. You may play it for free. Otherwise, add it to your hand. Now, there's not a lot that cost a lot in blue. The main hit that you're going to be fishing for is Placide. And then beyond that, it tapers off a bit. In fact, I'll pull it up right here. Not legends, so units, gears, programs. I mean, yeah, below Placide, there's modded Kusanagi, which returns to your hand at the end of your turn, so that's really not too big of a hit. You could hit another Judy Alvarez, Nothing to Doubt. But, I mean, yeah, there's not really too much expensive stuff in blue generally, but I mean, just playing anything for free for that is very nice, especially if you can get multiple of her out on the field. Then just, I mean, the more of that ability that you get to trigger, the better. Um, on the Cyberdeck podcast, Kawa also said that this was pretty balanced, at least to him. So that is interesting to note as well. Um, yeah, I mean, the six power is definitely a bit of a blow survivability wise, especially when you're probably going to be getting this card out because other six cost units, five cost units are going to hit the board. And as we already saw with Max X Suppression Team, and just generally, a lot of those cards are going to be at about her power level. So definitely going to be a bit of a challenge to keep her alive, unless, of course, you're slinging a bunch of programs like Florets or Chrome Reveries, which, I mean, if you're fully spec'd into blue, odds on that you're just doing that already. So maybe not the craziest thing, but it is definitely going to be a puzzle for you to figure it out how to get as much value out of this card as possible. Only going to get better as more expensive blue cards do come out as well. And there was also a very, very nice art revealed of her as well, also from Divebound Studios. And then on the Cyberdeck podcast, Kawa showed off this as well, and it looks very nice. It had some gold foiling with like the name and just around the card, and then cold foiling towards the top. And I mean, it was pretty like kind of detailed, the view that we got of it. So I would definitely recommend going back to the podcast and checking that out if you haven't. Shoot, I mean, I'd say it's pretty cool, and I am, but I'm pretty sure that you're just thinking that already. So just gonna let this kind of sit on your screen for 3, 2, 1, and moving on to the next one. So here we got Jackie Wells' Mama's Favorite. This art has been out for a long while. As you can see here, it was on the Kickstarter page, just, I mean, from the start pretty much. So definitely been around for a bit, and it's nice to finally put the card to the art. He is a Go Solo legend, so he has a cost of 6 to play and 8 power. And then he also has the ability where if a friendly unit would be defeated, you may pay 1 eddy to defeat this legend instead, and then remove him from the game, as you do with legends once they are defeated. I personally am not a big fan of this legend. I think that I mean, just straight up, the ability isn't really going to be too broad where it's going to be used. Only, like, big case I could see is if you're just going straight Voltron with, like, Royce, for example, in red, or just if you, like, really, really want to keep Placide around if you're in blue, or just something to that effect. But otherwise, just for the Go Solo Legend as well, he costs 6 to play with 8 power, which is already 1 more than it costs to play V. Corporate Exile, who only costs 5 to play, and also has 8 power. As you can see here, V Corporate Exile, 5 to go solo, and then the 8 power. So 1 more than V, still the same power, just with the ability tacked on as well. But this card also doesn't have a piece of gear called Dying Knight V's Pistol, which synergizes pretty great with V. So just a bit worse, I would say. Probably one of the worst legends, at least in my opinion. I could be wrong. Obviously, I could be wrong with literally every opinion on the cards that are out right now. But I don't think this one is going to be too crazy. But what is crazy about this card is at least the iconic art variant of it from Panda Art Studio. Looks very nice. This is also another art variant that was showed off on the Cyberdeck podcast by Kawa, and I will say you can see the foiling pretty well when he's showing it off, and I mean it looks pretty good. I just wish that Jackie was a bit stronger, and that at least to me the card was as good as this art makes it look. But moving on to a better note, we have Valentino Guerrera. This is a 3 cost red unit with 4 power and a ram requirement of 2 red ram. So you're just going to need to play 1 red legend to put this in your deck. It has the tags of Ganger and Valentino. And then if you have more street cred than a rival, this unit can attack ready units with blocker. Personally, I rate this card very highly. I think that ability is super strong. It, I mean, this card trades with all but 2 blockers, at least assuming that your opponent isn't putting a mandibular upgrade on Adam Smasher or something like that, because then this card will just get flatlined in 0.2 seconds. It's, yeah, except for Meredith Stout and the Goro Takamura Ghost Solo Legend. I forget the sub name for that one specifically, but except for those 2, this card at least trades with literally every other blocker card, and just, I mean, being able to clear out a Bombus to make way for, like, for example, your like Placide to hit is just super nice. It is pretty strong in that regard, and that is tacked on to what is already the baseline cost to power ratio with the 3 cost and 4 power. So I think this is pretty good. I personally rate this pretty highly, like I said already, I guess. But yeah, enough said about that. Pretty strong. Moving on to today's updates, or I guess when this is coming out yesterday, likely. We have Johnny Silverhand Never Stop Fighting. This is a red unit with a ram requirement of 2 red ram, 6 power, a 6 cost to play, and 8 power. Also, like, the legend has the tags of Merc, Rocker, and Samurai, and the first time this unit wins a fight each turn, ready it. So that's already pretty much like a double attack on the card, just printed straight onto it. And then this unit wins all fights against Corpo units. Corpo units make out a grand total of 9 out of the 55 units. But then there's also the legends as well, which I didn't take into account of that. And that personally is very, very strong, especially just to be able to insta-give just any corpo unit that they could be playing, especially if there's any super strong ones that come out in the future. And then, like I said, the double attack just on its face already is also really strong. And this card has 8 power, so that is nothing to scoff at either. Gonna win a lot of fights and battles, especially if your opponent has like some weaker ones. Then this, just picking them off, is very nice. And I mean, from this point on, I guess just for this one and the next one, I really wish they were revealed a day earlier, because then they would be in the proxy decks that I printed out for sure. I mean, if you called this the best unit out there, I would not call you crazy. I personally don't think it is, but it's definitely up there, at least for me, and definitely going to be one to look out for, especially if you're playing Evelyn Parker and have any kind of corpo synergy in that regard. Moving on to the first of the community showcase reveals. This one was revealed by Snapcaster Mage and Response on Play, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how you say the names correctly. I'm just going to double check though, just to be 100% sure because they deserve their dues. Yeah. Snapcaster Mage and Response on Play. Definitely recommend both of them make a lot better videos than I do. And I mean, the video that they made to reveal this card already, or just both of them, is really well done and very nice as well. And this card is as good as that video. This is Netwatch. Net Driver. It is finally another blue gear with a cost of 3 to play and a RAM requirement of 2 blue RAM, so very easy to slot in your deck. Only going to need to be playing 1 blue legend. It has a power buff of +2. It has the tags of Cyberware, Netrunner, and Netwatch. And then the first time, or not the first time, sorry, when this unit or legend is spent, you get to draw 1. No restrictions on how many times you can do it in a turn. And I mean, just generally pretty strong for me. The +2 power is covered by a cost of 1, just going off the base rate from Mantis Blades. So just it leaves the ability to be equivalent to a cost of 2. And personally, I 100% think it is because as of right now, there's really no way to interact with gear, especially if it's put on a legend, which it can be, as all gear can. So each time you're spending your legend for an eddy, you're just drawing 1, which is pretty dang good, especially if you're like in green as well, playing Pepe, where you can ready like a Merc legend, then that is going to be pretty strong right there. I mean, just, yeah, it is uninteractable card draw if you put it on a legend. Currently, it won't stay that way because at least 100% for me, there will be some form of gear interaction coming out in the future. But the ability is good, power buff is fine, and it can go in any deck that plays at least 1 blue legend. And all that together makes for a very nice piece of gear indeed. Moving on to the final card, this one falling to Response on Play specifically to reveal. This is Riot Shield. It is a 2-cost green gear with a RAM requirement of 2 green RAM, so you're going to need to play 1 green legend to put it in your deck. It has the tag of Weapon, which I believe is the first we've seen of that tag. Let me check just to be 100% sure. No, okay, I was just completely wrong. It's the fourth card with that weapon tag. So that's my bad. Didn't check beforehand, obviously, but I don't think it really matters too much right now, at least. It gives a power buff of +1, and then it also gives the unit or legend that it is equipped to blocker, but then it also has the ability of making rivals pay 2 more eddies to use Go Solo. So if we look at Mandibular Upgrade, it is a 1-cost piece of gear that gives blocker. So everything else on this card is equivalent to a cost of 1, with the +1 power going there as well. That being just 1 less than the Mantis Blades rate that we get there. And then the making rivals pay +2 eddies to use Go Solo basically makes a third of the revealed legends like that much tougher to play straight up. And I mean, if you don't think 2 eddies is a lot, it honestly really is. It is a significant and noticeable change, at least from my experience playing. A little softer if you're playing Black Sapphire Show and ramping, but still, it is very likely going to be noticeable for your opponent, especially if you can get multiple of these on the field. if you get two, any go solo legend is pretty much unusable and at best a last resort. So very nice. I don't think personally this is going to be, or no, I wouldn't say that either as well, because there's not really that many cards that give blocker as well. There's Mandibular Upgrade, there's the Coral Legend, and then I think just this, and that's it currently. So I mean that on its face is just pretty short list. So already there's going to be some inherent value in this as well. Just being able to give any unit blocker and then tack everything else onto it. And it makes for a very nice card indeed. And with that, that brings us to the end of the video for today. So I would like to thank you for watching this far. If you have, um, I guess, yeah, what news I would have said here, I already said earlier, but if you are accustomed to me giving away the news and have skipped here for some reason, then there is going to be a gameplay video coming out in probably 2 days or so, somewhere about 2 days in the future. Got the decks ready, sleeved up, so that should be pretty fun. That is going to be taking place tomorrow. So, yeah, I mean, not too much to say on that, except I expect it to be fun and very interesting indeed. Um, yeah, I mean, that's really it. My cat is starting to yell at me. So I am going to thank you again for watching this far if you have. And I hope that you have a very lovely rest of your day. I would advise you to go see Spider Man Brand New Day in theaters if you can, because, I mean, yeah, I've been a Spider Man fan my whole life, but I think it is a really good movie broadly. And clearly, the country agrees because yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the largest domestic opening weekend for a movie now. And if not then it's like the second one. But I mean, it's doing pretty well, and it deserves everything that's getting. Um, yeah, but my cat won't stop yelling at me, so yeah, I will hopefully see you guys in the next one. And until then, peace out, chooms. See you next time. Ciao.